So, for the uninitiated, this is Dooms Repeat, a history podcast. This is the second time in a row where we're not talking about history, but that's okay because there's a lot of big current events happening. In our last special episode, me and Levi sat down one on one and talked about the 2020 presidential election in the United States. Some of the things that we found interesting about it, kind of gave you the facts and things like that. Well, this is part two to that episode. We have some more information. Some things have happened. We do have a projected winner now. And of course, we have our other co host, Matthew Rana. He is back today. So that is good. Welcome back, Matthew. Hey. And then I'm your co-host. I'm your host, Andrew Rana, and then my other co-host, Levi Habiger, is here as always. So yeah, guys, we're gonna go ahead and maybe I'll leave that first part in. Some of it, well, probably not. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're
a
just
lot of
gonna
it was personal stuff.
yeah, so we'll just jump into it right now. We're talking about the 2020 presidential election. Last time we kind of gave you a base off like how things were portrayed, what was happening. We talked a lot about COVID and how that had a kind of a big thing to do with the election and like who's the best to run the United States during COVID, who was doing it well, who was not doing it well. And then me and Levi sat down and we talked a lot of, or maybe not a lot, but we talked some about conspiracies happening and maybe like
Yeah,
some things were a little shifted around.
I think the main focus last episode was really just about coronavirus and its impact on the election.
Yeah, we did. We focused on that a lot, which, that was a major impact of the election. Some say that was the deciding factor. I believe we said last
I
time, or I
well,
said at least, that if COVID didn't happen, I think Trump would have won easily.
hmm,
But it did happen, and here we are now. Since the last episode, we do have a projected winner, which is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as the vice president. They are projected to win the election. Of course, everything is not final yet. And of course, President Trump is doing whatever he can in the courts. He's quadrupled, dupled, decidupled down on the voter fraud, and he is still fighting that, mainly in Pennsylvania, but of course also in Arizona and Nevada, some big states. And yeah, I mean that's where we are right now. I'll just kind of hand over the reins to you guys, and whatever you want to start diving into, you can go ahead and do that.
Matthew, go ahead, man.
Okay, so I truly believe that, okay, this is just a question to both of you. I want to get the feel on your actual vibe of this because we all know that there is, like, to a degree, every election, there is an amount of voter fraud. That's just base.
Sure.
But do we
Yeah,
think it is more this time?
I
no,
mean, it depends. Really, it depends on who you ask.
yeah,
Exactly.
it really does. This time I personally, well,
But,
it's hard because
but
my initial answer is no, because I think the amount of fraud that happened this time is the same minute amount that's happened every time. But as we talked about last episode, there's just a lot of weird things happening with this one. We talked about how the observers weren't allowed to see things. We talked about how, you know, there's very suspicious how things just magically rose overnight. We talked
Yeah.
about how it's the system obviously was not ready for this, even though they said they were ready. We're here December or November 15th, still counting votes from
Yeah.
places. Like some
Jesus
states
Christ,
still haven't been called.
I just I
it's
just want to
so
say, okay, Levi, go ahead.
it's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It just shows the ineptitude of our government.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, honestly.
I want to say that, like, the crazy things are, though, the crazy, like, when you talk about it, fishy things happening, like statistics and, like, especially with the mail-in ballots, like, it went overnight from, like, 150,000 votes came in, and all 150,000 of them were for Biden, and not a single one was for Trump. That right there is just like mathematicians, economists, people who watch and talk about voting all the time said that is statistically impossible for, like, unless they were like just saving up the Biden votes to
Mhm,
dump them all
mhm.
at once, like 150,000 at once,
Also,
all for
Okay,
Biden.
after you go, Andrew, and after Matthew finishes, I will add something as well.
Okay. I was gonna say also, because honestly, I don't have a horse in this race. I said last time, like we don't have to disclose who we voted for, but I will reiterate, I voted third party. That's just what I decided to do.
Joe Jorgensen.
I've
Guess
always
what?
leaned libertarian in
And
all the
guess,
views.
and guess
So,
what? A lot of Republicans probably want to lynch you right now.
well, just like a lot of Democrats wanted to lynch me in 2016. What's new?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Right?
it's always one side against me. But yeah, I saw because I just love statistics. I love probabilities. I love watching how things play out and things. And I was watching election night. Not any live news or anything, but I was watching like the counter go up, and I was kind of seeing like anecdotal things about like, oh, this is happening, this is happening. And at 2 a.m., Trump was ahead in Pennsylvania, and I went to bed because it's 2 a.m. I think I had work the next morning.
Right.
And when I woke up, I'm immediately like, okay, let's check on it. And like, yeah, it was bam, 150,000. I was like, whoa, that's wild. And I didn't think at first
And go ahead.
I didn't think at first like, oh, that's voter fraud. I was like, that's crazy that he just got that many. But then you look at it, it's like, yeah, that is pretty crazy they got that many. And like, it wasn't even overnight because that's saying that it started at 8 or something. This was
Mhm.
like from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. Like, it was within 5 hours that this happened when everyone was asleep.
Mhm.
And then what's really suspicious, and again, I don't have a horse in this race, but what is really suspicious is that after that, it took them like 7 days to count another 150,000. Like, how come they were able to count so quickly in
Yeah.
4 hours, but then the next 7 days they couldn't count even like a percentage of that? It was insane.
I
I'm
also
like,
like to go ahead. Go ahead. Go
I mean,
ahead.
that's it. Like,
Uh,
it's insane.
Also, yeah, I like to add on that. Is like as soon as this 150K came out of nowhere, everything just spiraled out of control, and you just have immediately. And now were they in the right to immediately claim voter fraud? Maybe not. Maybe yes. Who knows?
Hmm.
Because like I said before, it really depends. Well, like when Matthew asked, how much voter fraud do you think was in this election? It really asks. It really depends on who you fucking ask. Some
Yeah.
people will say absolutely none was in it, and everybody will be like, the whole election has been rigged since 1776. So you just see it spiral out of control. You see people like Pennsylvania blocking windows, not letting people going and seeing the votes. I saw fucking videos on I'm not gonna disclose the app, but it was this video of this dude allegedly burning votes that were for Trump and all other kinds of things.
Hmm.
Now there's the claims that dead people voted,
I saw that in
and we saw
Wisconsin or
Yeah,
and there
Michigan.
and we saw that
those were confirmed though
and we
that
saw
like
that back in 2016. Civil War veterans rising from their fucking grave, coming
Uh
up to go
huh.
vote for Joe Biden.
Uh huh.
yeah.
It
It's
is
No,
not.
it's suspicious. It really is.
I
And
want to go ahead, sorry.
what I want to get, my point here is this: is that it is crazy, and no matter which way you look at it, no matter how much evidence there is for either side, you will have to pick. Well, maybe you don't want to. Oh, sorry, maybe you don't have to pick a side, but if you feel like you need to pick a side, there's only two choices: either you believe that there is voter fraud, or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that is not fair to us as voters in America. I want to make that very clear. That
yeah.
is not fair.
Yeah.
I want to just touch on something. It's what I think. This is my personal opinion, my thought, kind of a bit of a conspiracy theory, but also at the same time, not really from what it is. Like, I believe that both the Republican Party and Democratic Party conspired to get Trump out of office because if you guys
Oh,
remember,
it's highly plausible, and I
yeah,
would believe you if it was absolutely confirmed true,
but the
and it
thing
looks like it
too,
is. It looks like it
yeah, the
is.
thing too with this election as well is when all the votes came in, like for Biden, it was like, whoa, Biden. But then in the states where it went, they turned blue, they would still elect the Republican
Senate,
representatives,
Senate,
Republican
yeah, Senate,
senators. And I'm like, and not by a little margin, by a lot. And
yeah.
I'm like,
Hmm.
Like
that doesn't add up. Like usually, and that's what I was watching. Don't. don't think that I'm biased because of this, because I don't usually watch mainstream news at all. The only one I really even listen to the most is like BBC sometimes, but I was watching it on Fox. I was watching it live on Fox. And when they called Arizona, everybody was shocked, like, what? It's so early. But like they
Mhm.
called Arizona like that, like
Yeah, I
with
think it was like
only
at 80%.
no,
Hmm.
it was at like 60% of the vote.
Are
They
you
called it.
serious? I heard it
Oh
was
Yeah.
at
yeah, it was like
80.
at 60. I
I
remember
I
that.
had no
I watched it
idea.
in live time and I was like, "What the fuck?" And like it just so many crazy things kept happening, and like you had it to where there was like two counties left in Wisconsin, and Kenosha, where the riots were, went red, and it was still red. And then overnight, just boom, it had like 75% of the vote in or more. Boom, it went blue. And then all these other votes just came in and it was like a swarm. And it's like, what just happened? Like they already had like a majority of the counties accounted for. And then these other counties just all blue, all blue. It didn't, but to digress on that, with the whole Republicans is Trump is not a Republican. Trump is not a Democrat either. He ran on the Republican ticket because that was the only viable chance he had of winning. Because I want to just bring up the DNC real quick and the Democratic primaries, because when those were going on, I was following them closely because of my boy Andrew Yang, Yang Gang, and a lot of fishy stuff started happening. Like Biden shouldn't have won. The, he shouldn't have won it,
Oh,
but they changed it and they used the super delegates, which are only on the Democratic. It's only in the DNC. Like the Republican National Convention does not have them. They have super delegates, which are just these people who it doesn't matter how like the Iowa caucus votes or how they vote in, I think it's New Hampshire, like the people vote.
Hmm.
It comes down to these super delegates that like they get to choose whoever they want, no matter what the populace says. So that's how Biden, because Bernie Sanders was leading, he was to be the nominee. And then all of a sudden, all of the super delegates, not the normal delegates, went to Biden. All of a
Yeah, I
sudden,
mean,
like you
we
didn't have. Go
we
ahead.
yeah, we touched on a little bit on this,
yeah,
but
well,
kind of
we
just
talked
about.
about 2016 when that happened because
I
that came
know. I
out
mean,
as confirmed that there was some shady shit to get
oh
Hillary
yeah,
to beat
yeah, to
Biden.
get. Oh yeah, definitely. And if it happened again, it's most likely that it did
It wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
because like me and Andrew touched upon this in the last episode. The Democratic Party does not want someone that they think, despite what you might think here, if I say this, they don't want somebody that's too outlandish,
Hmm. Yeah.
radical, or
Yeah.
just doesn't fit what they want. Because
Hmm.
when you first look at Joe Biden, you might think, oh, he's super Dem, he's super liberal. And, you might be correct at first glance.
He's really.
However, on like a political compass, he's quite bipartisan, really.
Yeah, he really is.
Mhm.
And we could also attribute this to why he may have won as well. Think back to Obama, and Obama was a real feel good president because despite what you think about Obama, he was kind of like that. You could technically say he was probably like the first real middle president. And when you look at Joe Biden, you remember he's VP, and you
Hmm.
already see immediately right he's a bipartisan because Obama was bipartisan,
Yeah,
depending on how you look at it.
Biden was he's definitely leaned more to the middle in his 40 10 year in
40
politics.
10 yeah, 40 years in
Whereas,
politics. What
yeah,
has he
something like
done?
that. I mean, he's become president now, but yeah,
Yeah,
before that,
yeah,
he,
yeah.
he
Yeah,
hadn't really done anything. But he
For
was
no, almost 50 years in
oh,
politics, and he's
almost
done
50.
nothing.
almost 50 years. Yeah, but I mean, it's like Matthew said, or I think this was in the pre-show actually, but Biden won because people didn't want to vote for Trump. And then yeah, there's some of these quote unquote conspiracy theories, and I do agree that the Republicans don't like Trump either. At least Republicans that are in
Oh,
the House and things
oh,
like
you
that.
remember back from 2016? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
Republican governors and whatnot were raging,
Mm-hmm.
especially one that pissed me off the most, Paul Ryan.
Yeah, Paul Ryan. Mm-hmm.
It's just all the resentment. No, I know I can understand it, to be honest, because of the way you might think or feel about Trump. But either way, you would literally sacrifice the potential of having someone that's running on your party's ticket to become president purely because you don't just because like you don't like them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And it wasn't. I don't think it was even about policy. I don't think it was anything in
it was
regard.
just
I
that
think
he didn't like him.
it was just about, you know, and you can say, oh well, they didn't like him because Trump is racist. Whether or not it's true or not, I won't say because I don't fucking know if he's racist or not.
Yeah, I don't
But
know the guy.
yeah, I don't know the guy.
Yeah. All I can say with that stuff though is like there's no actual recording of him saying something racist though. Like the one thing they go back to all the time is the Charlottesville or Charleston
Oh yeah,
when
no, please don't, no,
That's
I don't
what
want.
what?
that's what we cut out last time.
Oh, you cut it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to bring up
I
Charlottesville.
didn't. Yeah, no, but like
I
to,
have
to,
some.
to hippity up right off that real quick though, there's two
okay.
things. First off, God bless. I still wish to this day that Romney and Ryan won. Back in 2000.
What? Wait,
Oh yeah, dude.
no,
Oh yeah. Oh
fuck
yeah.
no. I would no.
I
Okay.
still wish to this day. I just
Oh,
jive with their policies. I don't know. Say what you want.
Romney,
I was not a fan of what Obama
Romney.
was. I was not a fan of what Obama,
Romney. He
I'm gonna
got the
say
mama jeans.
dude. 2012, 2012 Obama, 2012 Obama. He wasn't doing shit. He was
2012 Obama was a
no,
vibe, bro.
guys, but
oh
like
whatever. Anyways, I'm throwing that in there. But to kind of just give you a little update because things have changed since we last talked. Uh, right now, Democratic Party lost 6 seats in the House, and Republican Party gained 7. Over in the Senate, the Republican Party lost 1 seat, and Democrats gained 1. So
Yeah,
Republicans,
that blue wave really fucking happened.
yeah, that blue wave really happened. And
and
then
see,
an update on the popular vote, which this is just wild, but right now Joe Biden has 78.7 million votes, and just as wild, Donald Trump has 73.1 million. So it's a 51 to 47.3 percentage difference. So that's, I don't know about that. That's crazy. I think the voter turnout for this was insane. Like, if fake or not, if this is real, I think that this is just like, it's a win for democracy if this is real, because we're getting like the people's word, the people's vote, and obviously, it's not people that elect; it's the electoral
Are we
college.
a democracy?
Well, no, we're a
We're
republic.
supposed to be a republic, a
Um,
constitutional republic.
but I
constitutional republic.
either way, I think that having a large voter turnout is only a positive. I think it's good. I think every eligible voter should vote. Now
We have
dead
three
people.
branches of
I
government.
don't.
Now dead people. You don't think every eligible voter should vote?
I would like there is a discussion I would like to have with you, but it might be controversial
Oh, it's
and you might have to cut
controversial.
it.
It sounds controversial already. You're
I
Let's
saying
not.
no.
I
Oh, it's.
believe that there's a
Oh
lot
God.
of people out there that aren't properly informed or people that should just not vote. People that don't contribute to society should not vote.
Damn, that is a hot take.
I know, but hear me out.
Really?
You're
They're living
contrib-
in our nation. They're living the land of freedom.
Time out, time out. Okay, so somebody like the social programs in this country don't make any fucking sense. They're not to help people get out of poverty. They're to keep them there. They're to keep people like
This.
living off the system,
This.
and they do it over and over again.
This is what I was talking about, Levi. This is the hot takes that I was waiting for. These were the
Like,
hot
Hey, dude,
takes.
I want like '80s elevator music over this part.
No. No, I think we can keep this in because
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
not
a
saying
legitimate.
anything.
Okay.
This is a
Yeah,
viewpoint that people have. Like, this is
Yeah.
legit.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
want. I would even sacrifice my right to vote. Like honestly, I believe people should be contributing to society. They should be better informed and actually have to take like they should have to take like aptitude tests. People should not.
No. No. Actually, no. No. I disagree with that. 100%.
I
And
think
and
The aptitude
the
tests are about the understanding of the policies that are being implemented.
I
aptitude tests before have been used in racially segregated Dixie America, and they were racist as fuck, and they prevented black voters from even having a goddamn chance of voting.
Okay,
Aptitude tests are fucking terrible.
listen here.
Absolutely
This is a
not.
completely different thing, though. And I will grant you that. And that's why I didn't really want to say that because that's what most people think when I would say aptitude test. But no, the aptitude test isn't to like, oh, can you read and write? Or can you like do this, that, and the other? Like, even
Mhm.
African Americans that could read and write still didn't pass the test because they just do shit that was like, it was racism. It was complete racism. This, what I am saying is like, no, you need to actually be able to understand the language and the laws that are being implemented by the people that we are electing. You have to
Mhm.
understand what is happening here. You have to understand the policies that are that's all I'm trying to say. And a lot of
Is it
people don't.
really the
And we get
candidate
played.
that's going to implement them, at though?
Yes. The only the democracy in the United States
Matthew,
that we get to use is a representative democracy.
Matthew,
They
I would Matthew.
they implement stuff all the time that we don't get a choice on. We don't get a say on.
Exactly. Because guess what? It goes 50-50 when it comes to the federal government. And when what people want is 50% taken in when they implement a policy, and what people don't want, let's take a policy that people don't want, it's 50-50 that that policy gets implemented. See, when you think about, let's say let's think about this. If you think that your vote doesn't matter when it comes to implementing policies, you're exactly fucking correct,
I
especially
knew
with
it.
your opinion.
I knew it.
Because when it comes to the federal government, it is 50-50. We could have everybody in America. Listen, I love it when people make this argument. They say, well, if everybody in America wanted it, it would happen.
No.
Guess what? It probably won't, because
Yeah.
it's a 50-50 chance that the federal government will enact it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
let's say that there's a policy that everybody would fucking hate if it happened. There's a 50-50% chance that it will happen.
I just want to
Mhm.
say the
It
50
doesn't
50
matter what
chance
your
happened. Like
it, it
I,
does
I
not matter
just
what your
yeah,
opinions are or what you want.
Yeah. I
like
mean, they have okay. Just to interject for a second, because I get what you're saying, Matthew, and I've had this thought before as well. I was like, I
I
would
don't
talk to
think
people.
aptitude tests are good,
Oh no, no, no.
because
I'm not saying that.
that was my main argument.
Yeah.
Listen, Matthew, I understand why you want aptitude tests. I think, yeah, people should be informed when they go vote, but that's really not something I would enforce.
Yeah. So I had this thought before, and I was like, I was talking to, I don't know who I was talking to, someone, and I was like, there should be a test because I'm sick of all these people going up and voting who have no idea who they're voting for, and especially nowadays, ever since 2000, basically. It's very red or blue. I'm gonna vote for them because they're Democrat. I'm gonna vote for them because they're Republican. And even now, to a certain degree, it's like green too. Like, oh, they're the libertarian. I don't know what they actually stand for, but I'm going to vote for them because they're not either of the other candidates. We're starting to form that big subsection of people. But with the problem though with the test is you're trying to tell people that they have to vote for a person for a specific reason. That's kind of another great thing about the way we have our democracy or republic, whatever.
no,
Um,
it's a republic.
yeah, I know. I'm saying like the democracy of like how we vote for a representative and stuff like that. But whatever. One of the great things is that when you vote, you get a vote for whatever reason you're voting for. And yeah, is it not the best thing in the world? I don't think it is. I think when you vote, you should be voting for because you're voting not for a person, but you're voting for everything they stand for, everything they represent, all the things like that. And if you're
Well,
when you're a
You're
responsible
you're voting
voter.
for a candidate that's supposed to hold your beliefs as well.
Exactly, yeah. And that's what I was going to get to as well. So when you're voting for someone and like you have all the policies and stuff, and you're the informed voter and you know everything, you know what they're going to do locally, foreign, trade, like everything. You're the informed voter. That's great. I think personally, most people should be informed like that. But if you're the person that's going up there and being like, I don't know, this person wants to legalize drugs and this person doesn't, even if you don't know anything else about them, I think in America it is okay and it is your right to vote for that one person based off that one thing. Now, I'm not saying it's the best thing to do because I don't think it is. I think you should know everything about who you're voting for and who you're supporting. And also, I think it's very irresponsible to vote for someone just so the other person doesn't get in. We'll talk about that because you have some personal experience with that. Actually, I think most of us probably do if we know anyone. But I think it's important in the test thing. It sounds really good on paper, and yeah, you have that whole like baggage that comes with it. But again, it's whatever your reason is to vote for a person. I think that should be okay in America to do. Now, the thing about that though is that whatever happens afterwards. So if you vote for a candidate and then they, do some really bad stuff and they said that they were gonna, I don't know, do whatever policy that's terrible, and then they do the policy, it is still your like you got to live with those consequences because and you I do believe that you kind of lose your right to go out and be upset about stuff like that because it's like, well, did you vote for them? Well, yeah, but it's because I wanted them to legalize weed. It's like, but they said that they were going to do this too. It's like, oh, well, I just cared about the weed. It's like, okay, that's where you as a voter messed up. And is it bringing down the rest of the voters? It is, yeah. And that's where our job comes in because I did this before the election. I have two roommates, and I don't think either of them were going to vote. But I sat down with them. We watched the debates. Those didn't really help because the debates were a fucking train wreck.
Oh
Um,
my god.
but we sat down and like I looked through the candidates, what they represent, what they stand for. We went through every single thing, like what they've done. Maybe there's some controversies with them. We didn't really focus on that, but we informed them, and I think I know we all ended up going to vote, and we were informed about what we are voting for. So I think it's more of a responsibility that the informed people have to go and inform others, which is hard to do because there's millions of people. But
I
I think at the end of the day, doing a test like that sounds good on paper, but there's so many ways that can be abused and so many ways that, and then you're starting to like, you are marginalizing people that can't read. Well, you're not allowed to vote anymore because you can't read this test or something. Or that's just like a
Hey,
very
give
quick
me
example.
give me a minute. Can I just want to respond to that really quick. The test, when I say test, when I say understand policies, we know of ways to administer tests without pen and paper, without people having to read. We can have it audio to them. We can have people,
Well,
and
no,
that,
that's what I was saying is that I know there's like ways around that.
yeah,
That was just
there's
like
like,
a top of the brain
yeah, I
example.
know, like you there, and the thing is, in a perfect world, it would work perfectly. I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, it's going to go off without a hitch. I'm just saying it's a better system for accountability on the voters' part and on the country's part because I, you know me, I love my ancient history. We're not talking about the Romans this time. We're going back to the Greeks. And Plato and Socrates said that, and this is very true. This is, I believe this 100%. These guys are giants, like literally everything in our country, basically, that we have, the way we live our lives is based off of what these people taught and discussed thousands of years ago. And they said in their democracy, it wasn't a true democracy either. There was limitations. There was like only certain people could vote. The people who were contributing to their society, the people who wanted to. Being
Mhm.
appointed into a political position was a sign of honor in there, and you only got to do it for a year or two. And it was like, no, you were in here for this time. you have contributed to society, you are helping people and all of that, so we're going to put you in this political position. You're not going to get paid anymore or anything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
Socrates or Plato or Aristotle, I don't remember which one exactly, it's one of those three, said that when it comes to democracy, it is dangerous because the individual will not put the greater good of the nation, the actual betterment of the society and the government and the polity of just the entire nation before themselves.
Yeah.
The individual is selfish. The individual will 9 times out of 10 do what will benefit only them. And even if it like only benefits that one person, like they will do that 9 times out of 10, and they can't be trusted to make they can't be trusted to make the sacrifice. People, if they had to give up 1% of something, 1%, a majority of people wouldn't. Just to help a bunch of other people, a majority of people wouldn't.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that is true too. That was kind of like my analogy with the like legalized weed or whatever. That's what I'm saying. Is like,
Yeah, and that's
My
why I
thing,
wanted to bring that up.
my
yeah,
thing, though, is that I don't think it is impossible. Neither do I think it should be the response. Well, I mean, we could sit here all day and say it's the voters' responsibility to look up their candidate, to find information, and vote.
mm-hmm.
It doesn't, because we can say that all day, yet we know it's not going to happen. And I think it is fruitless and that it is damn near impossible to try and enforce that, especially in the modern world.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like it or not, we have all in some way been made equal, and you might hate it that someone else has the same voting right as you do, or that that their vote equals just as much as yours does. You
Yeah,
might hate that.
equally as loud. Yeah,
Yeah. Guess what? Suck it up or do something about it, which you fucking probably won't.
Oh, if I get the
Because
chance, I
oh
will
yeah,
do something about it.
oh,
I will do
I would
something
love to see it.
if I get the chance.
However, what I'm saying is that it is probably impossible to enforce it. And to be quite honest with you, I don't want to see it enforced because if we don't have that risk and that sense of having to hold people accountable and that we have to baby them and tell them that they have to take a test before they can vote, or that no, you have to do like a whole page of research before you go and vote, then we cannot see the cracks or that we cannot see the problem fully, because that is a perfect world and we do not live in a perfect world.
that's for sure.
I'm
um,
just saying that we need a sense of accountability that is not enforced.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the
And
biggest problem, I believe, right now in the United States with our government is the lack of accountability with the politicians. But that goes back to the people. You have to hold people accountable.
Well,
do
okay,
you, if they're the ones who are doing
so
Yes,
it?
you have to
I
hold people accountable.
Who's really accountable then?
Each individual.
so
If everyone's accountable, then no one's accountable.
yeah. Um, so I think there's, I mean, this just goes into a whole nother thing because, like, I think there's so many things wrong with the way that our government is run.
Okay, yeah.
I think there's big money, so that
Big money.
influences. I mean, yeah, I mean, when I remember when I was in high school and I found out,
Big
what
money.
Big
what is it
money.
called? Those
Big
people that
money. Big
the
business, big
Yes.
corporation, military industrial
no, no,
complex.
no. Who are the people called that they're there in Congress and stuff, and they're there to like
Oh,
pay money,
bureaucrats, lobbyists.
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 Yeah. When I found out lobbying was a thing, it blew my fucking mind. I'm like, so
I
wait,
ain't gonna lie,
these people, these
lobbying.
people just pay money to governors so they will vote on the thing. That is so fucked up.
It is.
It's
It is.
legalized corruption.
It
It
is
is.
like I think that's the biggest problem right there.
Yeah.
Like all stops. That's our biggest problem. But you're never gonna see any government official get rid of that because that's
and
money.
then and then when you try to beat them by, oh, I don't know, like trying to really work with a new budget and
Mm-hmm.
really maybe try to defund them in some way, guess what, buddy? You have a corporation whose funding is about, let's say, I don't have an example for the state of Kansas, but oh, by the way, if you're interested, we spend $5 billion a year in education. So take with that as you will. However, but let's say you have a company or something, um, and you're funding them, giving them about, let's say, $1 billion. You cut that to half. Get ready. You got a fucking lawsuit on your hands.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's. I mean, there's so much, and I think when we're talking about
And you probably won't win, by the way.
no, um, and I think this is all good because, or a good conversation that involves the election because it kind of wraps back around to the whole voter fraud and things like that. Because I think it does all kind of connect in some way.
Oh, it
Like
does.
if there
Oh
is voter
yeah.
fraud, like you
Oh
got
yeah.
so many things,
Sure.
and
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
why
Sure.
is it
Yeah.
impossible that big business or
Yeah. Sure.
lobbyists or whatever aren't involved with it and
Yeah.
stuff?
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
No,
I'm sorry, but no,
no,
I
it's fine. It's
totally get
fine.
what you're saying. Like, yeah, no, bureaucracy is a big deal, and it is a problem, and lobbying is a problem. And if you have an example of when lobbying was ever good, I'd love to see it. I would love to see it
Never.
Just once, please.
just once,
It's fucked
just
up.
once.
There was another thing also that this was so long ago now, but when Matthew was bringing up the social programs are designed to like keep poor
Hmm.
people poor and stuff like that. I think
I have a case study for that too.
well. So I agree. Asterisk, big asterisk. I agree. Um, as we know, most socialist programs were around Roosevelt's
Good old
presidency. He's
FDR.
the one that implemented a ton of them, because we were in the Great Depression and then World War II right there. And there's so much happening. It's like, okay, we got to do some things. Say we about FDR. I don't think he's a good president. Anyone who makes actual concentration camps in the United States is not a good president in my book. I don't give a fuck what else he did. Um, but I just had to throw that out there. But yeah, most of the socialist programs happened then. And I feel like these programs, in theory, are all in good faith. Be it, I don't know if the person that did it in good faith, but I feel like people that support them, so like, the everyday man, woman, whatever, that's like, oh yeah, unemployment's good and things like that. I agree. I do think to an extent it is good because, sometimes shit happens, especially now where we're in a pandemic and jobs are being lost left and right. And even
Yeah.
now things are reopening, but I feel like it's every other day. Like, oh, that place got shut down. That place got shut down, because cases break out.
People
So,
lost their jobs. People will never fucking recover from this.
Yeah. No,
um,
actually, like, there's a lot of small businesses that have like been obliterated
oh,
by
yeah. Uh-huh.
by the pandemic and by the government's like unwillingness to act and help. They protected the big mega corporations that are still perfectly fine,
Yeah.
but they just let tens of thousands, if not millions of Americans lose
Oh,
everything they
millions.
have.
Oh,
I
there's
want it to be
millions.
known. I want it to be known. I think how far did the unemployment rise during
I
like
think
Um,
it
March and
was like
April?
60
uh,
million, 40, 60 million, 40
Okay,
to
but as a
60 million.
percentage,
it's
as
like
a
20 something,
20 so
almost
I
30.
want
It's
you
wild.
listen to the viewers. If America ever reaches 30% or more unemployment, this country will fucking shut down.
Yeah. Like,
This country will literally shut the fuck down.
and the country almost did shut down. Like when
Yeah.
that happened, like it was basically. I remember I was a delivery driver still at the time, and it was a fucking ghost town. The town, like everything was done.
You're talking about a culture of people who work, a
Yeah.
culture of people who do not like to take days off,
Uh huh. Uh huh.
a
Yeah.
culture of people that we still have people in their 60s
Working because they want
working
to.
because they want to.
A lot of them have to
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Well, some have to, but others
Some
just
have to, yeah,
want
some
to.
have to, and
Yeah.
that's bad. However, There are some who still choose to work even when they should be retired.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
So
this is true. This
So
is
so
I
true.
think,
it's a cultural thing as
Yeah,
well.
but I
yeah,
also
and just to quickly make my point, and then I'll let you jump
yeah,
on in.
you're fine.
But yeah, I think all these social programs are good, but I do agree that right now the way that we have it, it is kind of designed to not help, because those things should be designed to help a person get out of their situation and boost them up. But right now, they're either giving too much or they're not doing enough. You can make an argument for either. And it's kind of keeping these people just right there in this gray area box. And
Yes.
I think the people that say we need to obliterate social programs, I don't agree with that at all. And
Stupid. That's
yeah,
I
asinine.
yeah, honestly,
yeah, that's insane. But I do believe that we need to evolve in our social
I
programs,
think
and I don't think giving like making it more money is the answer. Like making
No.
unemployment from 200 to 500, I don't think that is the answer either. But
Okay.
yeah, like
Um,
pin in
I
that.
just I just want to say with like when it comes to the United States government using a marginalized group and trying to control influence over them, they've done it before. It's what they did with the Native Americans in like I think I want to say like Ohio, Indiana, that area. They undersold the US government sponsored merchants to undersell all the other French, Canadian, Spanish, anybody. They undersold all the other merchants
Hmm.
for trade goods that the Native Americans only came to them. They became dependent completely on the United States government after a few generations because they forgot how to make their bows and arrows. They forgot how to do this, that, and the other. And they were solely dependent on the United States government. So then they had complete control over this group of people and dictated them what to do, or else they would, oh, you're not getting your supply of seeds this time. You're not going to get this much steel. You're going to get this
Oh
much
well, of
gunpowder now.
course.
And
And
this is that I know that that's a very it's a bit clunky right now me describing it. I know I could do a better job of
no, no, it makes
elaborating
the
on it,
exact sense what you're saying is that like
but
they make them rely on the government to where they kind of have to like okay,
yeah,
it's kind of like a quid pro quo, but like
it
not.
is it is fucked up that the government itself it is directing towards you to become solely reliant on them and that they will not help you get
yes,
out of your situation. I think that is what
Yeah.
Matt is trying to say, and I agree
that,
with him 100%.
and I want to say like social
And,
programs when they
and
were
they are derailing you.
yes. Like social programs are one of those things like because when I got back from Europe, I was unemployed. I had like no source of income or anything. I was literally penniless and like $500-600 in debt. Like I had no money when I got
Hmm.
back to the United States. I maxed out my credit card to get
Hmm.
back.
Yeah.
So I got back. I had nothing. I didn't get the stimulus check. I could have applied for food stamps. I could have applied for um, unemployment, but I didn't because I talked with our dad a lot, and just talking with him, he's like, "You're fine. Like you can apply for those if you want, but we don't need it." He's like, "We're good. I can take care of you. I can help you, and all this." And then I got a reimbursement for my housing in abroad. That's it. That's all they reimbursed was housing, and they gave me a
Yeah.
little voucher for my plane ticket, which was like minuscule compared to the over amount that I lost. But
Yeah.
anyways, it was enough for me to cover my credit card debt. It was enough for me to have a little bit of spending money.
Hmm.
And so that right there, like I just waited and I didn't use the social programs because I didn't need to use the social programs. Like if dad lost his job, God forbid, then yes, we would use it for a little bit, but we'd get back up on our feet real quick. The social
Yeah.
programs, and that's what they were meant for. That's what they are meant. That's when they were implemented and what they were meant for when FDR implemented them. He was like, the country is flat on its ass. The country is just falling apart.
Hmm.
So we need a way to stimulate everything all at once.
Yeah.
So that's where these social programs came in. But now they've been twisted. They've
Hmm.
been manipulated and kind of upgraded in a sense to where it's not gonna get a person like you, me, or Levi. It's not gonna get most people that understand how the government works. Because, like, yeah, if I could, I would take money away from the government or pay the government less money. Of
Mhm.
course, I would do that. I fucking hate taxes. Like, when I look at my paycheck and I'm like, why the fuck they taking like a third of it? But
Taxation is theft.
yes,
See,
100%. But anyways, it's the marginalized people that it's trapping them. It's trapping minorities, it's trapping immigrants, it's trapping
it's
people.
terrible.
Yeah, and it's a cycle of just, oh, we will take care of you. We will take care of you. And the biggest thing I would like to see to actually like help people, to improve people's lives is, okay, we will still pay you, but now, because in Greece, I saw people always on the street sweeping, cleaning, picking up trash. Like, Greece's economy is not a good example of like how to run a country effectively.
I mean, yeah, Greece caused the housing crisis, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, yeah, but like they had, you can
Was
take,
it Greece? Was it Greece?
Yeah, it was. Greece started in like 2006. Their economy crashed, and that caused
I
ours
mean,
in
or we could
2006.
well,
say that it was money,
no, no, no.
or we could say that it was homeowner associations just giving out fucking
Well,
Yeah,
house willy nilly.
we can
But
say
okay,
that it was
so
it's
big
completely
banks on
different.
Wall Street, but
But
well,
yeah,
that's
let's not
completely
talk about that.
different.
Yeah,
if
That's
let's
you
not.
completely different.
if you track, I'm saying if you track, obviously it wasn't all because of Greece, but I'm saying if you track the
Okay, okay,
dominoes,
okay,
it's the
okay.
same as like Ferdinand getting assassinated to cause World War One. Like if you track it back, it was Greece
Is
that started it.
it?
Yes, it is.
No.
I just want to hear your voice crack.
Hey,
Anyway.
have you got
Well,
you've
congrats, you
all
heard it.
wait, you guys have all watched The Big Short, right?
The
Oh
what?
yeah, man. I guess
The-
we're not here to talk about that. But can I just want to make one real quick point because I want to get us talking about the election, Matthew.
Yes.
I really want you to
Sorry.
finish up talking about social
I will.
programs because I agree with you 100%.
But these that
At first I thought like, oh, we need to get rid of all of them. I thought that, oh, what the fuck. But
they need to be reorganized,
yeah,
restructured.
okay, yeah, I agree with that 100%. What I want to say real quick is that The Big Short is the main message of the movie is that Wall Street fucked up big time. A lot of these firms did, and guess what? The United States government, not even begrudgingly, just kind of bailed them out,
yeah,
and they went back to business as usual as if nothing happened. And you want to know something? They turned around and blamed you, the average American, for what happened to them. You want to know something? I might think, I like to think that capitalism is a good thing, and I do think capitalism is a good thing. But if you're gonna live by the sword, you should be willing to die by the sword.
yeah. That's the
And if you ask
Yes.
me, if I was a federal judge, I would have indicted all these fucking firms on fucking fraud and all other kinds of shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
we're not here to talk about
Yeah.
that.
But anyways, yeah, we're not here to talk about that. But anyways, so with these social programs, like, you need social programs. I am not, I have conservative values. I have libertarian values. I
I
have
mean,
centrist values.
I think that's obvious that
I have democratic values. I have values of all different types because that's what a good, well balanced person should be. They should have different values of all different kinds because you need some social programs sometimes. You also need to be able to tell people,
It's
step the fuck off.
go ahead, Levi.
I was gonna say that's why I don't think political. I don't. I really just don't think political compasses are a good basis because like you can feel, you know, you're not just
Bottom
one.
right.
You're not bottom right.
Bottom right.
I want my tactical home defense nuclear missiles. But
Sorry.
praise be to the gods of McDonald's. Anyway,
Yeah,
but listen, I just don't think you can be one thing, especially in a nation like America. Like I said before, look at Joe Biden; he's very bipartisan when you really think about it.
I think
Yeah.
so. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this back over to the election. Yeah, although I
Yeah,
do
this
like
is a great
everything.
segue.
I do think everything that you guys are saying are is great content, and I think it's all well thought out and things. I'm gonna pull it right over back, but
Well,
before
you
we
got
do
a political
that, real
science
quick,
major here, so.
yeah.
And
I don't
you
really
gotta
think that way, by the way.
yeah, you
You
gotta
probably there's probably a viewer that has never like once studied politics and probably knows 10 times more than any of my fucking professors. So who
Yeah,
knows?
probably.
yeah, because
But
I'm just a history buff too.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, I mean, this is a history podcast, but
Yeah.
I was gonna say about that thing of people need to like have perspectives of all ends and like see things from every which way. I do believe that
I want to make a clear
the
statement.
vast
That wasn't me ripping on my professors. All my professors are cool and they have an extensive background in political science. That was a joke. That was a
Levi's
joke.
professors suck. They are unqualified to teach.
Please don't fail me.
because but what I was gonna say is I believe that most Americans are like that. I think that most do look at both sides and say, okay, well, I see that and I see that and I see that. And I mean, there's so many other things. Like, they make you register as one of them, which is already fucked up. That's kind of like a commitment
Hate it.
already. And the reason that it's like that is because most Americans are kind of, in the middle, like they take things from both sides, but the people that aren't, the ones that are very left or very right, those are the people running for office because they care a lot about those specific things. And that's the problem. It goes back to that one thing you're saying about those philosophers, Matthew, where
Yeah.
they would take the people and put them up. That is a great thing to do because then you're not getting these super biased people. Because it's great if Biden isn't biased and he is bipartisan, which I do believe he is. Like he's very. I think we could have so much worse presidents. I think Biden's going to be very quiet
I
these
think
next 4 years. I think he.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll have something I'll say later.
okay. I just
The
think
one thing I do want to get into, which I really don't know, is that how are the after you're done talking about it, sorry, Andrew, if any of you, but like, how are these lawsuits going for Trump? Is what I want to know.
Yeah, so we'll get into that in a second because there is some news on that. But what I was going to say is, as presidents go, typically they usually aren't too left or too right. I mean, obviously you have your examples of where they are, but for the most part, they kind of do balance out in the middle. But that's not the problem. The problem is the senators and the people in the House. Those are your extreme rights and your lefts. Like
Yes.
those are the ones, and it's like we said before, the president doesn't make the rules. They don't do, he's only, or he, she, whoever in the future, they're only one piece of the puzzle. It's all those Nancy Pelosi's and Mitt Romney's and
Neocons.
Mitch
AOC's and
McConnell's.
Mitch McConnell's, like the far right, the far left, the people that usually the president either way is saying, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
like they're like, you guys are too much. AOC, it's too much for Biden. Biden is not going to want to work with her. Mitt Romney, too much for Trump. He's like, no, you're too far, dude. It's like that's the problem is that you have these super right and left, and when midterms come
And
up, there's a
can,
reason that in midterm elections voter turnout is less. It's because most people don't care, but those hardcore people do because they want those conservative values or those liberal values. So you get a whole bunch of super right and left wing people in there, and it fucks everything up.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to throw that in because I think
Mitt Romney.
most Americans are
Mitt,
not like that.
Mitt Romney wears the mama jeans.
Yeah.
If you don't know where that's from the 2012 presidential rap battle
Rap battle, mm-hmm.
from
Yeah,
like top rap battle.
You
What
already
were they
know.
called again?
Epic rap
Or
battles.
epic rap
epic rap
battles
battle
of
between Barack
history.
Obama.
They're still making videos and they're fantastic.
Yeah, they
You
still
wear
do.
the mama jeans.
But Levi, what was that thing you said?
Oh,
When
I
you,
want to know more about how these lawsuits are coming along because
oh
I've
yes,
seen in the
yes,
news
yes.
that some judges are kind of turning down Trump, and
Yep.
whether or not, hey, did you guys hear that? I had a notification come up.
No.
I didn't hear
Okay,
anything.
okay, it was really loud in my headphones. I didn't know if you heard it or not.
Oh,
So
nope.
anyway, so I've heard like a lot of judges are kind of, at least from what I said, about I think like four or maybe more have
Throwing
already
them
turned
out.
down, or like are
Yep.
throwing Trump shit out either because they don't want to be involved or they really just don't, or just really think that what he has isn't legitimate.
Yeah.
Um,
I've seen that too. A lot of his cases have been thrown out. A lot of judges are denying it. It doesn't seem like it's going anywhere.
I wanna touch on something to do with the judicial system and the state of it in this country, because the judiciary is supposed to be an unbiased part of the country that they execute the interpretation of the Constitution. That's what they do. They're supposed to have the blind eyes of justice. They're supposed to have the blindfold of justice and hold the scales. It's
That's
this.
why our Supreme Court has red and blue on them.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm getting at. This is what I'm getting at. Like, this is how fucked up it is right now. Is like judges should be impartial. Judges should be, I interpret the Constitution this way. This is how we're going to execute it. This is what this is and what that is. But there has been lots of times to where judges back parties.
Oh
Judges
yeah,
judges like will make rulings based on party affiliation. And it's like, no, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to make a ruling based on the interpretation of the Constitution and the laws. And they don't do that. They do it based on personal bias. And that is a fundamental breakdown of our country.
And we could see a problem here coming up, no matter which way you want it to go.
Yeah.
If this does go to the Supreme Court, who decides who the next president is, I ain't gonna lie with you, gentlemen. Trump's legacy will most likely be, if he's not president for the next 4 years, his legacy, if he never runs again, his legacy probably will be his Supreme Court nominations.
yeah. Those
He's
three
put
that he
three.
filled.
He's put three in there. So we could say for days that if this does go to the Supreme Court, and if they don't uphold the impartialness that Matthew was saying earlier, Trump could just be picked just cause.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. They should be impartial and they should decide. Now, if you're a Trump supporter, you'd probably be like, well, of course they'll pick Trump. They should. He put them there, didn't he?
But that's
Well,
not how
that really doesn't matter because they're kind of already in the position.
yeah. I mean, like, I already got the job. Like,
So,
doesn't really matter anymore,
you
man.
can't really fire someone from that job.
Yeah, no. And you could have the those who voted for Biden being like, that is absolutely wrong. They were completely not impartial, even if they were impartial. There would be people on Joe Biden saying that they weren't impartial if they put Trump if it goes to the Supreme Court and they vote for Trump. So there is just that what if right there.
I just want to.
And then we have Clarence Thomas,
Oh,
who's on the Supreme Court, and he's had disgruntles with Joe Biden before.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, one of really a funny fucking meme I saw on the other day. I think it was on Instagram. It was like Clarence Thomas's word of the day: wrath. The next one was retribution. Because I think back in the 90s, like Joe Biden did everything he could, like from slander to everything, to not get Mr. Thomas on the Supreme Court. And we saw that back when Kavanaugh with the whole bullshit. Like, not to bring that up, but there's always something. There's always
something.
There's always something that one of America's political party will try to do to try and not get a Supreme Court justice on that damn court.
Oh yeah, I mean, we just saw that with the latest pick
with Amy
with
Barrett.
Amy
Barrett. I don't know. I know her last name's Barrett.
Yeah. With Barrett, we just saw how, I mean, like it or not, the last justice died. Trump was president, and we saw the biggest bitch fit in the world from the media about Trump should wait till after the election. It should be the person, and obviously,
guys, just to interject real quick, can we when we go from this, when we're still talking about the election, I want the next thing that we're going to talk about to be the media.
Okay. Well, this is a good segue because you saw the media throw the biggest bitch fit about Trump shouldn't be allowed to do this. He can't do this. There's more important things right now, which, by the way, they don't talk about that stuff anymore. We don't know anything about these stimulus checks, but they don't mention it anymore.
Oh,
But
I actually get like an article like every week, and it's still the same bullshit. When are their stimulus checks coming? Are there stimulus checks going to come?
um,
They
but
quit asking at this point.
yeah,
I don't even
exactly.
know
Stop
the first
asking.
one.
But
I'm sorry to say this, but you're most likely not getting another stimulus check.
yeah, definitely.
Fuck,
Probably
that's
not.
bad. That's bad. But let's keep talking about the media.
I'm
There's a
not
lot of
saying that it's good or bad. I'm just saying that you might not be getting another stimulus check.
I will
I wish.
elaborate why
Don't
it is
hold your
bad
breath. Don't hold
later.
your breath.
I
Yeah.
will elaborate why it is bad later on. But right now we are talking about the media and just how it has gotten so blatant. It is just such an echo chamber now. Like it's
I want to give an
awful.
example real quick. Um, just a little little fairy petal. I don't know what the fuck that means. But there is some fuckery going on around the media because they've been touting this whole like masks are good, not wearing masks are bad, and you're like, okay, this is an interesting thing to say. I feel like most people already know this, but then what do you see on all the headlines? We saw it during the June riots. Major protests happen, or protests, whatever you want to call them, riots, protests. They were both major protests happen. Most people are wearing masks. It's like, okay, but they're still not. The masks don't like stop it. You got to be distanced too with the mask, but whatever, you'll do that. And then we saw the Trump supports protests or whatever you want to call it. And
Hmm.
we saw the headline is Trump rally, no mask every time. And then we saw this recently when Biden was announced as the presidential elect. It was parades and honor and stuff for not honor, but parades and celebration for Biden. Most people wearing masks. It's like you see downtown New York and it's fucking packed like New Year's Eve. It's like shut up. And just to throw it out there, COVID cases have been skyrocketing. Coincidence? I don't know. But then we just had that
No.
like million march for Trump or whatever that just happened, and I saw it. It popped on my little Alexa thing because it does headlines. It's like, um, the headline was Trump millions for march in quotes like uh rallies thousands, little to no masks. And it's like they keep trying to shove that in there like, look, these people are bad. They don't wear the mask. But these people are good. They do wear the mask. And it's so obvious what they're doing. It's so like forget who you support cuz I don't really support either of them. But it's just like come on guys. And whoever doesn't see this really needs to just open their fucking eyes. And if you do support the whatever rallies and don't support Trump and stuff, you should still be like disgraced at this type of bullshit that they're doing. Like it's really just fucked up, and I'm sick of it. Like it should be bipartisan, just like everything else should be. It's not, of course, it's not. But it's just something that anecdotal I've been seeing, and I know there's so much more with the media, but that was just one example of like the whole mass controversy. Even though it's statistically shown that with or without masks, the virus hasn't really given a fuck. Like, it doesn't matter if you are or aren't wearing masks, it's still spreading like wildfire.
I agree. I agree. Now, however, when it comes to, I think I discussed this earlier. Sorry, not earlier. Back on the last podcast, is that when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to like just the media, you know what? I don't care what you think. Um, I think everybody can agree. The media just hell, maybe even Fox News doesn't like Trump.
Yeah, Fox News doesn't either. They just
Yeah,
don't like
no.
Trump.
Like
Nobody. I'm going to get into this though.
Which, to be fair, before you get into it, to be fair, Trump has made their lives living hell
Yeah,
the last 4 years.
that's what I'm going to say here is that maybe it's not without all. Listen, I'm not saying it's not fair. It is absolutely not fair. All the shit he has received from them,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
but the way he has
Yeah.
retaliated may not have been the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you were me, I would have. Well, shit, I don't know what I would have done. To be honest with you, I'm gonna completely. I probably would have done nothing. I'm gonna leave it at that. However, I probably would have done something. But however, if I was president, I probably would have done something. But however, listen, I'm just saying though, what really kind of put the nail in the coffin and secured that the media will give him shit for the rest of his presidency? Fake news.
Fake news. Yep.
Do you remember when he called CNN fake news?
Yeah.
Oh my God, was that just? It was. I thought it was hilarious, and people thought it was the worst thing that had ever happened in their lives.
Yep. Uh-huh.
I'm sorry to say this, but if you thought that that was the worst thing to that a president could have ever said, I think maybe you should cut back from all the
Of
fucking
the
article,
fucking news.
all the on the news.
Because
Like,
you are a drone and you're like you're controlled by them.
Bot. Fucking bot.
listen, as Denzel Washington once said, because he was quoting somebody else, but I don't remember who he was quoting, so I'm going to quote Denzel Washington.
You're gonna quote the quote.
Yes, I know exactly what
quoting
you're
a quote. I'm quoting a quote from Denzel Washington. Listen, if you already read the news, you're already misinformed.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And
So-
then if you don't read the news, then you're not informed.
Yep.
So when it comes with the media in this country, actually not even with social media is it's going through a drastic
detrimental.
change
It's
right now.
detrimental. I would
Yes.
Oh my
say.
gosh, yeah. I'm like probably the biggest Twitter user on here if I had to guess. I
You
use
are.
it constantly all
I
the
know.
time and I'm on there all the time and it's so biased towards leftist ideals. It's not even funny. Like
Yeah.
it is so biased towards it. And they have this like the little moments tab where it shows all the top news and stuff and the trending tweets and stuff. It is so biased and they all say like, oh, it's an algorithm and things like that. No, it's fucking not.
They are
Because
technically
whatever it's-
right that it is an algorithm, but it's an algorithm that has been set for that. It's
yeah, for
set to
that.
pick up that.
Because you'll see things like, I don't know, hashtag corrupt cops or something. And it's like, oh, that's trending right now. But if you like click and see how many tweets are, it'll be like 1,200 tweets. It's like, this isn't trending. But then you will see a thing for like, I don't know, just to keep it in the same ballpark, like hashtag pro police. There might be, I don't know, 80,000 of those tweets, but they won't show it on trending. They'll show it like in the background, hidden behind things that you have to go through to find it. And it's just things like that. And then, you know, the whole like remember when Trump went into the bunker because of the riots happening in front of DC?
Yeah.
No. I'm just saying that like the hashtag bunker bitch or whatever was trending. But again, it was like, I don't know, 10,000 people tweeted it. But it was number one on trending.
Do people
Even though like right below it, I don't know, fucking something with NBA had like 200 and something thousand. They'll promote and push that shit up. And then with the election results awaiting, what they have? A picture of Biden the whole time. The entire fucking time. And it's like, guys, you gotta stop. Like,
Listen,
if anything,
but they won't.
Listen.
Bless you.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. To the viewer, and if you think we're dick riding Trump,
We're not.
you have a freezing point IQ temperature.
Holy fuck.
I
That was brutal.
blur that out, Andrew, please.
oh my goodness.
I'll say it. You blur it out.
A freezing point temperature IQ.
I think that's okay to say.
We understand that everybody Trump has a lot of stuff that he has done to where he is warranted criticism. He is warranted being covered by the media and the media saying things about him. What we are saying though is they don't show any of the good stuff either. They will show nothing good that he has done. They will show nothing good that anybody on the right has done. They will show nothing good.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. The person on the right is against Trump. Remember, McCain became a national fucking hero
Yes.
before he died. Even though 8 years before they were shit talking McCain until the fucking cows came home. But now he's the great American and the greatest hero.
And then Trump had to go around be a fucking cock ass dickhead and had to fucking talk shit on his right, like, Jesus fuck, the man just fucking died.
Stupid.
Get the fuck off Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, dude.
Exactly. Like, see that is warranted. of the media actually berating him like, dude, you don't fucking do that. It doesn't matter what you feel about the guy. He just died. Leave him the fuck alone. Like, you're punching at somebody who can't defend themselves. Literally.
Literally, they're dead.
So, like, leave that the fuck alone. But also, like, bring up his old comments he says too. And then when the media falsely accused him of saying,
And
of
my time, yeah,
calling, when he went to Arlington Cemetery and
Oh yeah, the like
yeah,
losers or something.
yeah, and he said he called them losers. They falsely ran that for days, and then all they did was they stopped running it. They never retracted their statement.
Oh,
They still believed it.
they'll
They
never
still
admit that
are
they're
going to
wrong.
put that out there, and I'm like, he literally didn't say that though, and it's just so fucked up how like they can put out the fake. I'm not going to say it. How they put
No,
out
you
the.
can say it's the fake news. I mean, that's
It
it.
really,
That is what it
it
is.
really is.
It's a
But,
meme,
like,
but like it's true too
I don't want
sometimes.
to come off as like a Trump hardliner. I am not a Trump hardliner. I'm perfectly fine saying this. When I voted for Trump in 2016, the first time I voted, oh my god, I got so much shit from our family for it. Oh my fucking god. Like, I'm pretty sure my mom and grandma were about to fucking disown me, and they like would get hysterical every time. Like, how could you? How could you? I'm like, because it's my choice.
imagine,
Duh.
imagine, just, I'm sorry, but if anyone
Shame
stops,
someone.
if you are shamed, if you are disowned, if you have a friend that hates you now or anything because you've voted for someone. Now, don't get me wrong. I can understand if the
We
dude's like a murderous fucking dictator. I could understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can call it for what it
However,
is,
yeah,
Levi. We can call it for
yeah.
what it is because it is people who voted for Trump. It's not the other way around. People aren't like disowning or cutting off if you voted for Biden or something or voted for
Oh, yeah.
Clinton. It's the other way around. And this is like
Yeah.
non-candidly
I'm just
saying this
saying,
now.
but if you do that for either side, you need to really take a look back into your fucking soul and see how dark, corroded, and absolutely uninformed that you have become
Oh no,
because
no, no.
you have been so
I
politicized
want to
by
say
the last 4 years
Uh-huh.
that you utterly cannot see past.
Oh
yeah,
no, dude, it's
it's
terrible because
ignorance and intolerance
that
actually.
was
Like,
yeah, that's the most ironic thing is it is intolerance and ignorance and all that, which is coming from like the slogan of the Democratic Party, I guess you could say, has been like tolerance for all. But in reality, it's tolerance for what we like. And
it,
again, this is only some people, but it is a vocal amount
it's been
inside of the
getting
party.
worse though. It's been getting absolutely worse. Like, there was one of the a few of the people that ran, and they would like on their election day, like Democratic mayors and people or politicians, they said, we're gonna get a list and we're gonna track down the
Hey
people
guys,
who
real quick.
voted for Trump and we're gonna make them pay. And I'm like, whoa, whoa,
Oh
whoa, whoa,
no,
whoa,
I
whoa,
mean
whoa,
no,
whoa,
that
whoa.
I mean that's been happening the
Hey guys,
whole
real quick.
time. I can't remember what it was,
Oh,
but it was
Levi?
like
Hey guys, real quick. Can we wrap this up in like the next 5 minutes? I kind of need to go do that thing. I was
yeah,
trying
no
to get
problem.
it
We
done.
can wrap
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
up in the next
Oh
5 minutes.
shit.
But it was the same thing where people were finding out like I can't remember who it was, but it was down in Texas. I think it was one of the Cuomo brothers, maybe or something. But they had a
Conan
list.
Brothers.
But they had like a list of people that donated to Trump, and they like publicly blasted it out there with the intention of
What?
like, no, like this happened,
Yeah.
and like they were like, and then they didn't say, but they're like, hey guys, by the way, these are the people that supported Trump. Go get them. Like this has been happening, and the thing is, you don't see it from the other side.
Yeah.
Now, currently, you don't see it from their side probably has happened in the past, but we're looking at the present right now, and this shit is happening. And you do see people like, I'm not associating myself with you anymore, or you're a terrible person. And then, of course, all the lingo of you're a racist and you're blah, 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 and you're misogynistic and all that if you voted for him. It's like, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah.
why are you judging people based on who they voted for? And it's
That
really disgusting how this became a quote battle to save the soul of America or
oh my
whatever. It's like
fucking
so
god.
stupid. If you saw the other side do it, it would be the same reaction. It would be like,
Yeah.
this is so dumb.
It's so I but what I was getting at with when I voted, the first time I voted, I considered myself I considered myself a very informed voter, and I listened to all the policies that both sides were putting out. And when I voted, I'm like, I'm gonna hold him to it. If he
Don't
doesn't
believe him,
keep
ladies
this,
and gentlemen. Matthew heard that Trump was going to build a big old wall, and that he was
That's
like,
what it was.
"Yeah, build that wall."
that's exactly
Build
why I
that
voted
wall.
for him.
Build
Duh.
that wall.
I'm kidding. That can be considered
Yeah,
slander, Matthew. I'm sorry. Don't sue me.
yeah, no. um, I I held him to it to where he said he was going to bring jobs back and he was going to do this and he was going to. I
Yeah.
don't I don't have the specifics right now, but he said he was going to do these things and he did them. He started doing them like his first 100 days. He did more than like I think the last 3 or 4
First off,
presidents
like,
combined.
yeah, he signed a lot of executive orders, but hold on, is it like executive orders aren't fucking shit? You know, they have to
Yeah,
go to they have to go to Congress and shit.
yeah, but he was like showing that I am putting forth the effort. I am
Yeah,
making all of this.
Yeah.
He the things that I held him to was the wars, North Korea and China, and he did all of it. He literally has he got a peace treaty in the
I
Middle East. He got a fucking
I
peace
want
treaty
you
in the
guys.
Middle East.
You want to know what's fucking hilarious right now? The people who are not recognizing Joe Biden as president is Vladimir Putin, president of Brazil, who is extremely far right.
Venezuela?
No, 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 nothing. Xi Jinping of all people,
Oh fuck.
Dude, I'm
and
telling you right
Kim
now.
Jong Un.
I'm telling you right now. So I just want to go ahead and wrap this up because Levi does have to go, and who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe in the future these are kind of fun. We won't do it next week for
And I
sure,
Oh
but
God, no.
we might do something like this in the future because it's kind of nice talking about current events and things like this.
yeah.
Matthew, quickly finish up.
Yes,
Um,
I was trying to finish up quickly, but like I held him to these things. Like when he said he was going to like be tough on Syria, he did it. Like he did what he was allowed to do. He blasted an airstrip, and they're like, "Oh, it's only an airstrip." I'm like, "Well, Congress isn't giving him the right to go in there and declare war, and nobody wants a war, so
The
we're doing
biggest
what we can."
of current democracy governments is that they could not get rid of Assad, and I think that that is fucking hilarious. But that is a complete discussion for another time.
Yes, yes,
that
exactly.
was
Like, but
ear rape.
yeah, but anyways, so like these things I've held him to, and the most crazy thing, the most ludicrous thing,
Matthew,
when
two
I heard,
seconds. Come on.
yeah, I know, when he said it was like the peace in the Middle East. I'm like, there's no fucking way this guy's gonna get peace in the Middle East, especially with Jared fucking Kushner. But they fucking did it. They've got a peace treaty with a bunch of countries recognizing Israel, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how did that happen? How did that happen? Like it, every other president beforehand couldn't
So
get them to the fucking table.
I'm gonna cut you off there.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. But that's what I'm saying is like I held him to it, and like
Well,
he's doing stuff. He's doing a lot of stuff I don't like
yep.
too. But
My biggest problem with Trump has definitely been the treatment of national wildlife parks and other things.
yes,
Yeah.
environment in general.
And it is so sad that the Republican Party has become that party. It is literally like spitting on Teddy Roosevelt's grave.
It's the worst thing that they could have
Bastards.
done. It really is like the worst thing they could have done. But we're gonna go ahead and end it there. Before we do though, I just want to say that it's obvious, Matthew, why they got peace and stuff. It's because Trump respects them with power, and that's always been the problem. We talked about this last time, but North Korea was always like throwing out videos of America burning and stuff like that, and always like threatening nuclear war because Obama would laugh at him. They wouldn't like take them seriously.
Yeah.
Trump took him seriously. He went over there, they talked and stuff. Do they like each other? No, probably not. But the
No.
thing is, he was like, "I recognize you. You're a fucking G. I ain't saying you're a good G. I ain't saying you're like I don't say I want to be your friend or anything, but I'm recognizing you as you could like if you wanted to, you could fucking cause some
Well,
chaos."
yeah, and he also stopped calling Kimmy Rocket Man. So
Yeah, yeah. So like there's reason there why this stuff happened, and then there's reason why like America's interests, which are quote unquote like corporation interests and things like
Yeah,
that. And there's so many other
yeah.
reasons why things like that don't happen. But I do want to end this episode like I ended the last episode, and that is with a warning. A warning that we all, left, right, middle, wherever, we all need to keep cool and level heads at times like these. We're seeing the protests start to pick up more traction because remember, boys, it's only been 13 days since the election, and we've seen these rallies and these
And
protests.
Al
And
Gore, I just want to add, Al Gore was technically the president elect for 37 days before Bush took it in the recount.
yeah,
Just saying.
so we need to keep cool and level heads, and I think everyone that would listen to this podcast, our audience would and does keep cool and level heads. But whatever the results end up being, we have to do what we do best, and that is accept them and move on to do better things. And
And that's also
if your guy didn't win this time, come back with a vengeance next time by voting. And if you are like, oh well, we got the popular vote, go campaign in Wisconsin or Pennsylvania or something. Inform your friends about it. But please, 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 because we talk about history so much, and we talk about how these things spiral out of control so much. And I'm not saying
yeah,
that it
yeah.
will, but
2 seconds.
this is the start of how bad things happen if people take it out of hand. So please be nice to your neighbor, be nice to your friends, be nice to strangers. Keep a cool and level head, all that stuff.
However, don't be too trusting.
Don't be too trusting, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Don't become a blind sheep.
I
But
will
that's going
say.
to be the end of our podcast. We ran out of time, but that's okay. We got a lot of information in there. I hope you all enjoyed this special
Good
election
discussion,
podcast.
boys. Really enjoyed it.
We'll be
Yeah,
back next week with
good discussion.
something. Who knows? We're trying to.
Napoleonic Wars. We are
Napoleon.
going to do it.
Napoleon.
I would demand it right now. Andrew Arana, Matthew Arana, brothers, 2 years set apart or whatever bullshit.
14 months.
14 months apart. Both of you, write down fucking notes.
Hey,
You
you as
too,
well,
bitch.
sir.
Okay, listen, if we all write down notes, we will have probably one of the best history discussions we've had in a while. Because I am very interested in this because it is like the formation of modern day politics and realism.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm down with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be our next episode. Part 1 is coming out next week. Thank you so much for listening. As always, you can find this podcast on podcast services around the globe, and I literally mean that. I put it on every distribution site, even Amazon Music now. It's freaking everywhere. So go tell your friends, go tell your family, go tell your babysitter from when you were 4 back in 1982 or whatever. Go tell everyone. We appreciate it. We love you, and we'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
I don't love you.
Goodbye, have a beautiful time.